Concord doctrine rests on a single load-bearing sentence. Action taken in common is action taken under direction. Where there is a command node, there is coordination. Where the command node fails, coordination decays outward from the failure. File 006 describes 416 humans in a dark room, 20 minutes with no one in charge of them, and coordination that did not decay. We do not have a category for order that improves when authority is removed. The question this file exists to answer is simple. With no one in command, who was in command? The answer we filed is not the answer we found. Access granted. File 006. Contact +6. 11 weeks after the events of File 005. Location: the below-grade concourse of a commuter rail terminus, coastal city, northern temperate band. Designation withheld under survey cover protocol. One stair at each end, 416 people inside it when the lights went out. Observing Rapporteur, Oleth Tam, Halveth. Second chair, surface incident desk. A rapporteur converts an event into a finding a model can accept. Tam had held the post 9 years and had never had a finding returned. 4 prior files in this dossier end the same way. An observer is asked to adjust an account and declines and pays for declining. This file does not end that way. What follows is Tam's log, unamended. The report Tam filed is a different document. I was not present. I watched from a leased office 300 meters away with lawful access to the feeds. 1904 local. A traction cable in a service trench beneath the down escalator begins to burn. Very little flame, a great deal of smoke, entering at ceiling height and descending slowly and evenly. 1906. Power fails. The address system fails with it. Emergency lighting holds on the eastern half only. Both attendants on shift are on the platform level below and do not reach the concourse until it is over. From this moment, there is no authority in the room. No staff, no responder, no announcement, no instruction from anyone entitled to give one. 20 minutes pass in this condition. 1907. 3 people in 3 separate parts of the concourse, none able to see the other 2, raise a phone light above their heads and stop walking. Within 90 seconds there are 19 such lights, held stationary, spaced at intervals of roughly 12 meters. The spacing is not perfect. It is better than the spacing my own service would have achieved by assignment. Nobody asked for this. I searched the audio. There is no request. 1909. The north stair is sealed. A security shutter came down on power loss. The crowd converges on the south stair, which is correct and also dangerous. 416 people and 1 stair is the shape of a crush. Nobody has yet reached the gate. 1911. It does not become a crush. 2 lanes form at the stairhead. One marked to run up and out, one held down and inward against the direction of survival. But nothing moves through either one yet. 1912. The outbound lane starts moving, and in the same second a passenger at its base begins counting aloud, not shouting, counting. Each person through the gate, 1 number, steady from the first. She has no role, no vest, no standing. She simply starts, and the people around her shift to keep her line of sight clear. 19:15 and 20 seconds, the woman counting hands the count off. She is at 211. She has been counting for just over 3 minutes, and her voice is failing. She says the number to the man beside her twice. He repeats it back. She goes up the stair. He continues from 212. The exchange takes 41 seconds. Neither of them was ever identified. A function was created by no one, assigned to no one, and handed intact between 2 strangers who had known each other for the length of a sentence. 1919. Second handoff. The count stands at 306. 1921. Ceiling panelling has come down near the mezzanine stair, enclosing 4 people. A line forms and passes material back hand to hand. The position at the front, closest to the smoke, rotates about every 90 seconds. The rotation is voluntary and no one is arranging it. 1924. The line reaches voice contact. They establish that all 4 are conscious. They say help is coming. And then they wait. The hardest available action. 1926. Responders enter. The structure dissolves in 90 seconds. The third counter walks to the incident commander, gives him a number, 398 out, 18 still below, steps back into the crowd, and is gone. He does not give a name. He is not asked for one. All 18 were brought out. 11 treated at the scene, 7 transported. No deaths. 398 and 18. 416. The count was correct. In 20 minutes of recovered audio, I counted 206 instructions issued and 191 followed. Not one was issued by a person with authority to issue it, because no such person was in the room. Doctrine predicts decay from the point of command failure. The feeds show the opposite. Coordination in that concourse was measurably poorer at 1905, while the address system still worked, than at 1920, when nothing worked at all. I wrote that into my draft finding. Coordination in the observed population was not produced by hierarchy, did not require hierarchy, and improved after hierarchy was removed. 11 days later, the file came back. The Directorate of Command Doctrine holds standing review over any file bearing on coordinated action. It authored the sentence our entire service is organized around. Its query to me was 3 paragraphs long and entirely courteous. The query proposed 3 things: that my draft substitute the phrase distributed informal hierarchy for the phrase no hierarchy, that the clause regarding improvement be struck as unsupported by comparative baseline, and that the 41 seconds be omitted on the grounds that unidentified speakers cannot be entered as attributed observation. The third point is procedurally correct. That is the part I have had difficulty with. Those 2 people were never identified. The standard is real, and I have applied it myself to other people's files without a moment's discomfort. No one threatened me. Nobody raised a voice. There is no version of this in which anyone behaved improperly. I appeared before the review panel on the 9th day after the query. The channels along my forearms were dark for the full hour. Halveth cannot suppress this. Our load shows on the skin. The chair was gracious enough not to remark on it. I filed the amended version on the 12th day after the query. I substituted the phrase. I struck the clause. I omitted the 41 seconds. Here is what I told myself. A finding that cannot be received is not a finding. Unamended, the file goes to sealed doctrinal review, where 3 people read it and it stops. Amended, it enters the working corpus. The timestamps, the lane, the rotation, the count that was correct, and every rapporteur after me can pull it. I gave up the conclusion to keep the observation. That is the honest half. The other half is that my appointment is reviewed in the spring. I expect it to be renewed, and I did not want to spend 9 years of standing on a sentence about a stairwell. Both halves are true. I have not found a way to weigh them against each other. Rapporteur. Tam's appointment was renewed the following spring. The finding entered by file 006 reads, in full, coordination consistent with distributed informal hierarchy, command nodes unrecorded. It cannot be tested because it describes a structure no observer saw and no recording captured. It has the shape of an answer. 3 later files cite it. None of them cite the interval. The archive holds Tam's personal log in full. Everything you have just heard, the 41 seconds included. That is how this file exists at all. What the archive does not hold is any trace of those 41 seconds inside the Concord's own working corpus, the record other rapporteurs actually pull from. The Finding 3 later files site contains no exchange, no names, no handoff. Only command nodes unrecorded. What remains unexplained is not the crowd. 416 humans held a shape for 20 minutes without one person authorized to make them, and improved as the authority available to them approached zero. That is unmodeled, and now unmodeled in a way we have made harder to see. What remains unexplained is TAM. 4 observers before TAM were pressed and did not yield. TAM yielded, partly cowardice, partly a genuine attempt to move the observation past a body that would not have accepted its conclusion. And we cannot separate the two, and neither can TAM. The Concord's model of humanity has a gap in it now, 41 seconds wide, not in what the archive knows, but in what the Concord's own doctrine can afford to know about itself. We can see the gap. The Concord, working from its own corpus, cannot. Filed under, unmodeled, coordination without command, observer compliant, finding amended.